Hey guys, Neil here at Fanaticon in Ottawa, Ontario, and I'm here with a very special guest today, and it's Robert, I don't know how to pronounce your last name, Robert?
Bockstael.
Bockstael, okay, there you go. So Robert Bockstael, and you might recognize his voice work from many wonderful cartoons over the years. He was LB in Teddy Ruxpin. He was Robocop, the voice of Robocop, the cartoon, back when there was all these R-rated movies that turned into cartoons, and somehow they got greenlit for children. You got Monster Force, you got Super Mario Brothers Super Show, Silver Surfer, and you got Sauron. Were you both Sauron and Kazar?
Yes, I was.
You both? Okay. Yeah. What was it like working on XMen with so many talented people, such as John Stalker over here? You had the voice director Dan Hennessy. What was it like working on XMen, even just for those few episodes?
Well, interestingly enough, I was alone in the studio, except for the director and writer and producer, who were in the booth with the engineer. So I didn't get to bounce off of the other actors, right? So I was just there on my own. Performance-wise, they required quite a specific attack and approach to the characters. It wasn't as free and as open for my interpretation as some of the other characters that I did play over the years. Like LB, I had a lot to say about how that character developed over the years. In terms of the voice. But for Marvel, they have a very, very specific world, and they needed a very specific sound, and you had to kind of stick to that.
Right, absolutely. They were very, very accurate to the comic books, the Chris Claremont storyline. So that was wonderful to see. Wonderful fan service for that show, and you're very memorable as Sauron and as Kazar, of course. A lot of screaming when it comes to Sauron, I guess. A lot of yelling and stuff. And I also wanted to ask you, obviously, about your book, because we got your book here. Sure. And camera lady, if you want to pan down on the book here and get a good shot, maybe over here, and check that out. So he's got a book called Willows Run. Tell us about your novel, Willows Run.
Well, Willows Run is it's a thriller. It's a propulsive read, actually. People are finding it very difficult to put down. I'm getting a lot of messages saying, it's your fault I was late for work. So it's doing very well. It's available on all platforms around the world right now. It's selling quite well. The reviews are coming in, and they're all incredible. The main character is the protagonist is a 6'6" former professional volleyball player, and she is on the run from an abusive relationship, and she ends up in a small town, and the people there rally around to try to hide her. It's pretty hard to hide a person that big. Not only that, she stole her husband's $2 million RV. It's pretty hard to hide that too. But then she discovers that there are a lot of very, very deep, unsettling things that have been going on in this small little town for so long. And while that's kind of being uncovered, her husband is after her all this time, and there's a killer on the loose. There's an awful lot of stuff that develops that's going on. So chapter by chapter, it's a cliffhanger every chapter, deliberately so. So it's a fun read for everybody. I wouldn't read it to your kids, but a lot of people are enjoying it, specifically on a rainy day, because it does take place during a week-long rainstorm.
Okay, wow. Yeah. A lot of interesting factors going on in that book, because you got the chase, you got that suspense, and you want to keep reading to find out what happens with that, and then at the same time there's strange things going on in that town. So that's really interesting. That's a really cool book, and you can get it. Obviously, you can get it here at Fanaticon, but can you get it online? And if so, where can people go to get your book?
Well, let's see. You can get it online. You can get it on. Here's the thing: you can get it on many, many platforms. If you just search it, if you just Google it, right? You can find it on Barnes & Noble. You can find it on Ingram Spark, on Amazon, on Scribd, it's on Audible, because it's in all formats. So you've got it in paperback, it's in hardcover, it's in large print hardcover. I did the audiobook as well, so I narrated it. And yeah, so you get a professional voice actor reading his own material.
Right, who better?
And it's also in the ebook format.
Okay.
So you just have to Google it. It's everywhere. If you're in India, you can get it there. If you're in Australia, you can get it there.
Sweet. Great, excellent. Well, that's great. You have many different versions of how to, read the story, or there's people that don't read, you can just listen, right?
Yes,
so that's
absolutely.
awesome. That's brilliant. One last thing I wanted to say really quickly here, if it's okay. I'm just going to show this picture real quick. So this is the cast of Teddy Ruxpin, and I'm guessing that's about the mid to late 80s or so, or is that later on?
Mid-80s.
Mid-80s, yeah. So you've got all the great actors and characters there. Do you have any stories about goofing around in the studio back then? Because like for this show back then, it was more common where you weren't alone in the studio, where you were acting off of other actors, much like theater acting. So it's a lot easier, I think, to have better chemistry that way. Do you have any kind of funny stories or bloopers from working on Teddy Ruxpin or any other shows?
Yeah, it's funny because I was just catching up with John Stalker, and we haven't seen each other in 30 years. It's the first time today. And we were relating that the recording of that series was the most I have ever laughed in my life before or since. I mean, we laughed so much. And it was an ensemble cast, like you say. We were all in the studio. We would rehearse the whole scene, and then we would record it. It was more like live radio in a way. That's
great.
Right?
Yeah.
And it was done on tape.
Right. Yeah.
I went in one morning. Okay, so here's the story. I went in one morning, and it was really early, and I had just traveled in from Toronto, and I was tired. I might have been a little bit hungover, I don't know. I was young, that's me there. I had a full head of hair. I'm the guy bending over there. So I was in a bit of a mood, and I was supposed to do just a couple of pickup lines for an upcoming episode. And I had the script in front of me, and I was looking through it, and I thought, is this weird? It wasn't up to par in my mind. I didn't realize that the writers had flown in from Los Angeles the night before, and they were in the booth, which was tinted windows. So I couldn't see into the booth. So I'm standing there with my headphones on at my microphone, flipping through this thing going, geez, something stinks in here. What is it? Oh, it's this script. It's this script stinks. And into my headphones, the director said, all the writers and the producer are here from Los Angeles, Robert. They're sitting next to me and they can hear you. It was devastating. I have related that story since in other voiceover environments, and everyone laughs their arses off at me. Really rookie mistake.
Yeah. Right? Well, who knew? You never know who's listening.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah, that's great. Well, that's awesome. Well, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much, for being here and for talking to me here, Robert. And
absolutely.
Good luck with the rest of the day here at Fanaticon. Come on down. There's a couple hours left here at Fanaticon in Ottawa. And I'm here with Robert. Until next time, guys. Take care.